All right, everybody, welcome. We are going to kick off episode 6, I believe, of West Side Story. My name is...
believe?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I didn't look at the notes before we started. We're just riffing it today.
Tisk, tisk.
It is a lovely, lovely Wednesday afternoon as we record this to drop a new episode on a Friday night for your ears to hear. My name is Aaron Piper. I am the owner, founder, jack of all trades with Buried Puck Threads, and I am here with my amazing wife, life partner, the better half for sure, one Miss Anya Piper.
I find that agreeable.
I figured you would. And based on the amount of horns that I've heard in our pre-recording conversation, we've got one Mr. Dan Brown pissing people off over there in Seattle traffic. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm trying not to piss people off, but when they don't let you in, It's like, so why we can both be stuck in traffic and I can just be behind you? But It is a Range Rover, so you figure they've got a pretty heavy sense of entitlement would be my stereotypical guess. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a stereotypical guess. Let's say an educated guess. Based on experience.
I always say that stereotypes are born somewhere for some reason. So some of them might be right up there as being true. So anyway, it is a lovely February afternoon. There's a lot of hockey to talk about. There's a lot of women's hockey to talk about. Dan, on a regular Friday night this past week, hanging out at a WUFA practice, got to meet up with somebody that's pretty cool, pretty big in the women's hockey world. Why don't you tell us about that meeting, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's back it up a little bit. And one of our 12U goalie, the goalie on my daughter's team, is a pen pal of one Kimberly Sass.
Nice.
Goes by at the Daily Sass. I think there's an underscore in there somewhere, and it's SASS on Twitter. And knowing this, I've followed her for a long time on Twitter because I've been a fan for a long time. And I said, hey, I know you're a pen pal with Cinder. I'm not a creeper. Actually, I didn't say that, but I was like, hey, I know you're a pen pal with Cinder. Do you want to stop by for a coffee tasting at Starbucks HQ? Because I see that you're in town for this science convention where you're going to be presenting there, and got a like, and I was like, okay, that's cool. A couple days later, she's like, yeah, going to be in town. Sorry, I haven't responded, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, in the interim, I'd come down with a kidney infection, so I was laid up. And so we finally connected on, I want to say Tuesday afternoon. And she and her boyfriend, Dan, were arriving on Thursday night. And so the two of them came out to our practice on Friday night. And it was great because our goalie, Cinder, who Kimberly Sass is her hero, which is why we wanted to arrange it. We introduced her, or she introduced herself. She was like, hey, Cinder, I'm Kimberly Sass, and the look on her face. Her parents wanted to keep it from her. I didn't want to tell them about it until I had it nailed down that she was going to come out to practice. And she and her boyfriend showed up. She introduced herself, and there was this moment of, what? And then, huh? And then she kind of sank into it. Really an awesome experience, kind of the approachability of the female players, and especially someone like Kim Sass, who's fully involved with her fans, responds to things on the regular. She's a board member of the PWHPA, and she's also an exceptional goalie who's going to be playing in the Dream Gap tour that goes to Japan here. I want to say the 4th through the 6th, 4th through the 7th in Tokyo. Really awesome though. Just basically, she worked with Cinder the whole time during practice for on ice. We're going to try to arrange an interview, but it got to be about 10:15 at night when we were all wrapped up.
Yeah.
So we're
too late.
Yeah, and we're just going to, especially for old farts like me. So we're just going to.
Me too. I'm in bed by like 9:30. So.
Yeah, she and her boyfriend probably could have hung out for an interview, but I just said, we'll schedule it at a later time, so we can expect to get her on at some point here so that she can talk to the PWHPA, her experiences in the NWHL, and why working in STEM for girls and working with the PWHPA to make a living wage a reality for young female hockey players is so important to her.
That's awesome. I know that we've got a shit ton of questions we want to ask her, and some of them are clarifying things like just trying to figure out some things she might not be able to speak on, some things she might be able to, but clarifying questions from us common people. But then also really just sharing, in a positive way, the vision for what's going on with women's hockey. And she's definitely got an inside track on that stuff. So I am excited. I kind of figured the interview might not happen with everything going on around the practice, but we'll definitely get her in for a phone call, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah. She was totally open to it and welcomed it and said, like I said, if we vet out the questions, she'll let us know ahead of time what she can answer, what she can't answer, and then we'll go from there. But she'll definitely provide some insight. And I let her know, there are a lot of people, maybe not that don't listen to our podcast, but maybe do listen to our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would like to know more about what they're doing, how they're trying to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish, and get that, glean that insight from her. So it'll be awesome once we can get her on. So hopefully in the next few weeks we can nail a date down.
For sure. Did you have something, babe?
No, I just when you said that you were meeting with her, she was coming Friday night to the practice and stuff. I did some little reading about her and stuff like that, and man, she's a jack of all trades. She's an artist. She's in the architecture world.
Wow.
And she plays hockey, and it's just crazy how busy she is. And I think it's really cool what she's doing, especially for girls. And she's a girl. She's a girls coach for or goalie coach. So I think that's awesome. All the things that she's doing.
Yeah, she's really kind of an amazing individual, just an inspiration. She's kind of the Terry Crews of women's female hockey, just total Renaissance woman. She's got all these angles that she's coming from, and she's really passionate about making the world a better place for girls who want to get into science or get into hockey, and just making the world a better place in general. So yeah, I walked away just a bigger fan than I ever was before.
That's really cool. That's so awesome that all came together. So we had a quick little glitch there. Nobody would have ever known because I'm a great editor, but something happened with the phone. So now we're back again. Dan has rejoined us from the west side. I thought maybe Mount Rainier had erupted and taken you out, which I'm really glad that it didn't. So,
That would have been sad.
yes. But the question that we were talking about was, did she take you up on the coffee tasting?
The answer was no. We couldn't schedule it. They only had one day off, and that was Saturday. And I don't go to work on Saturday for any reason.
That's awesome. Good for you, man. Because I'm sure you work plenty of hours at that place every week. So, well, cool. So that gives her something to do next time she's in town as well. This weekend, we're recording this on the 19th. The 21st is when we'll release this, but it is the first. What are we calling this here? The AHL the AHL NWHL doubleheader thing with the Sound Tigers.
Yes, accurate.
Wow, I feel like I had a lot of energy and then it just died there. What's going on with man, that was one of the biggest anticlimactic things ever.
So way cool stuff. Let
yes.
me just move on because sucks.
Cool.
Okay. Whale and Sound Tigers are meeting this Saturday for the first ever AHL and WHL doubleheader. Super cool, super exciting.
You're saying the Whale are playing the Sound Tigers?
No.
Okay.
Doubleheader. They're going to be at the same place, the Webster Arena.
Which is where the Bridgeport Sound Tigers play.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's just the Whale will be playing Boston at 2 p.m. Eastern.
That's rough.
Yeah, they actually played this last weekend. Did you get to catch that, Dan?
I didn't know. I was too busy with hockey this past weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I caught a little bit. We had games that we were attending, and a husband was working and all that good stuff. But I heard it was a pretty good game for 30 to 40 minutes, where the Whale kept the offense of the Pride back, and it ended up being 4-1. Boston wins, of course. They're like 21-1.
Yeah, right.
So, but it was cool. I'm excited to see it this weekend. I'm definitely going to make plans to watch that. I'm not sure if they're live streaming it on Twitch. I can't get a confirmation. I tried tweeting them, but they did not respond back. So I can't confirm if it's being live streamed on Twitch or not, but you catch it. I get notifications. Just subscribe to Twitch and you can find out.
I would have to imagine, because of the MO that's kind of been set this year,
yes,
that they would be live streaming it. So, anyway, Bridgeport. We have an old friend in Bridgeport, Parker Wotherspoon, used to play here in Tri-City. He's been with Bridgeport the last few years. So.
And did he still play there?
Yes, Parker is still there.
Yeah.
And speaking of Bridgeport and the connection to the Northwest, one Mr. Kiefer Bellows, who was a stud for 1 year with the Portland Winterhawks, went on in the New York Islanders organization. I'm sure Dan's super familiar with this, but Kiefer just had a hell of a, I think it was his first game. He potted 2 goals that night.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice debut. I mean, he got sent back to Bridgeport, but with all the injuries the Islanders have had, it was pretty nice to see him come up and actually make a difference right away.
Sure. He was really fun to watch for that 1 year that he came through with Portland. I mean, Portland and Tri-City both there was like 7 or 8 first-round picks playing together at one point, which was crazy. But he was a fun guy. I wanted to talk real quick about some stuff that's coming out of Seattle. Babe, you had brought this up talking about floorball. I'm going to make sure that I am saying floorball. It's not ball hockey, it's floorball.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, and I've seen some things about this over the last couple of years, but it's really, really taking off as a cheap entry. And I don't mean cheap in a bad way. I mean a non-expensive entry to get the sport into local schools and stuff like that. What can you guys tell me about what's going on with that?
You want to hit that, Anya, or you want me to?
You go on ahead. I just learned about it the last day or two or something like that, about an article you actually tweeted. So I would love to hear your insight.
Sweet. So there's a couple of guys, a guy named Salvatore. I'll massacre his last name, so I'm not going to say it. And then another guy, Dave, who goes by Floorball Guru. It's floorballguru.com. And they're really pushing floorball as that entry point with the NHL coming to Seattle to get kids interested in it. And for those that don't know the difference, a lot of us played like deck hockey or ball hockey. Like there's the Seattle Street Hockey League up here, or organization that plays that, which is, orange ball, weighted, normal hockey sticks,
right?
That kind of thing. Floorball is like a whistle ball with a stick that has a round shaft and a blade on it that isn't solid. So it's like a framework with a bunch of air in between it. So really improves your stick handling, really teaches you all the kind of correct things that you're looking for in hockey that deck hockey or ball hockey doesn't really teach you as a fundamental. So these guys are going out to community centers and schools and things like that to try to get kids involved with and get kids excited about what the rudiments of the game of hockey is. And then a certain percentage of those will hopefully go on. But those guys have been working it for a while. We had Dave, the floorball guru guy, out to WUFA for our season kickoff a couple of years ago. And it was pretty awesome to watch our girls who know what they're doing out there playing this sport. So because it's like a wiffle ball and everything is super light, it really makes your touch a lot more important.
Sure.
To develop kind of that. Instead of chopping onions, you have to feather the ball really closely in order to keep it on your stick. You can't just kind of run away with it.
So with this program, I hate to be the business guy, but what's funding this? I mean, is this something that they're just doing on their own, or do they have people backing them with it?
So yes and yes. They've raised some funding. I don't know all the exact sources of funding for the two folks, but really this is kind of a grassroots project. Two guys that are really passionate about it. It's an actual sport with teams and things like that over in Europe.
Right.
And the U.S. has a national female team that's 19. I want to say 19U, or that's the classification that they have.
Okay.
That Dave, the floorball guru guy, tries to put together, and so he's always trying to recruit hockey players to be a part of the national team. But both of these are two guys who are passionate about this, see that entry point for a lot of kids and adults for that matter, if it gets to that point. But starting out with the kids to get them interested in the game. Some of them are going to just continue to play floorball, and some of them are going to move on to play hockey. But either way, everybody benefits.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's a great idea. I could see that, especially over on this side of the state where there's not a whole lot of sheets of ice. I mean, that's definitely a barrier to getting people involved. But with this, I mean, just some open space, a school gymnasium or whatever, and you can play it. So.
Yeah, totally. That's, a discussion we have over here. Right now, we've only got 7 rinks between Vancouver and Vancouver. So it's not exactly like there's a ton of sheets of ice here. People interested in the game are like, well, how come it's so expensive? Or how come it's so political as far as youth hockey is concerned? And really what it comes down to is it's not like a school gymnasium for basketball or a soccer field or even an outdoor basketball court in some parts of the country. You got a limited amount of resources that you can schedule kids on, and all of that refrigeration and things is expensive. So it definitely gives people something to sink their teeth into and see if their kids have an interest in it before they start sinking money into it as well.
For sure, because most people that are familiar with the sport realize that it's not cheap, it's not easy to get involved with it. I mean, it's a great sport, and once you master it, it's awesome. But there are definitely a lot of barriers to getting involved, and I love seeing this sort of thing. It makes my brain start ticking on ways we could make that happen over here. So,
reach out to them. They're both on LinkedIn. Reach out to them, and if you're interested in getting something fired up over there, both of those guys are really receptive and responsive to anything I've ever sent their way.
Awesome. Yeah, because I have not seen anything here. I haven't even seen anything out of like the Spokane area. I'm not saying it's not happening, but I haven't noticed it. So that would be really cool to possibly get something going there. You already mentioned that the PWHPA is going to Japan, so we won't talk about that anymore. I do want to talk Western League stuff a little bit. We're starting to wind down the regular season here. Some of the writing is on the wall for certain teams that probably aren't going to make the playoffs this year. But one of the things that I really like about this time of year is even though it's winding down, you've got a lot of big events going on. Some teams do their pink ice night, like the AMs will be doing their paint the ice actually pink on February 28th. A lot of teams do their pink jerseys, lavender jerseys, whatever you want to call it, for breast cancer awareness and all that sort of thing. Another cool thing that's happening soon, and there's a mascot named Wild Bird. If you guys haven't heard of Wild Bird, we know him, and I'm just going to leave it at that. We know him. Her. Sorry. Oh, yes. Sorry. Her.
That's all right. It's a faux pas.
Okay. So her with Woofa, with the Washington Wild, and all that stuff. But Wildbird's going to be making some appearances here soon. Specifically, I know the T-Birds and the Silver Tips and all that sort of thing. But Dan, I hear that you're pretty good friends with this Wildbird. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what's coming up with these appearances?
Yeah, definitely. I sidled on over to Wildbird's Nest the other day to find out what's coming up. And it's kind of the circuit as far as mascot appearances. They start ramping up this time of year. So she's going to be at the Silver Tips. Silver Tips on the 1st of March. And then she's going to be at the Seattle Seawolves game on the 7th, the rugby team, on the 7th of March, and on the T-Birds mascot night on the 8th of March. All of those are going to be hanging out with a lot of the same mascots, in a lot of the same places. That's why the mascots generally refer to it as the circuit. But yeah, so if you get tickets for any of those games, you can expect to see Wild Bird, Cool Bird. A lot of times the Mariner Moose is out there.
Fun.
Yeah, Lincoln, the mascot, the bear for the Everett Silvertips, is going to be out there obviously for his event, but also for the other two events. Usually, Rucky, the mascot for the Seawolves, Sounders mascot. Oftentimes, Rhubarb, the reindeer from the Rainiers, is out there. So just a lot of fun. I mean, come on, watching mascots, unless you're scared by them, which is okay too. It's just a lot of fun to watch them run out on the ice and make fools of themselves.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We watch here at Tri-City. We've got Winger. Winger does a really good job, but I watch like Lincoln rides a freaking quad into the arena to open the game.
Do we have any skating mascots?
Yeah, actually, with the T-Birds, skating is encouraged but not required.
Okay.
I will say the visibility is limited for most mascots, so skating is a little bit of a sketchy situation.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the structural integrity of said mascot, it's sometimes more difficult than one would imagine.
I would assume so.
I can imagine. I mean, I know how hard it is to skate without wearing all of that stuff, and I can only imagine.
Yeah. Silvertips is usually mascots on mascots, so all adults running around. The T-Birds is usually mascots versus beginner kids, so a little bit sketchier.
For sure.
A couple of years ago, there's a mascot for the Puyallup Fair, just absolutely freight trained a kid, just semi-trucked him.
Oh my God.
Feet come up and bam, just because the mascot couldn't see the kid and just completely leveled him.
Okay, wow. I would pay to see that.
Kid was okay, but the mascot community was watching that on Twitter over and over again for a little while.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh my God. I don't know whether to laugh or to be horrified.
Both.
Well, both. Was it? It was either last year or the season before. The Americans had their mascot night, and they had a bunch of local ones here that lined up to do dodgeball with kids out on the ice.
No.
So luckily, most of these mascots with their their big clunky suits on weren't really able to get that ball flying too hard and hurt any children or anything. So I was thinking about the movie Dodgeball and some of the scenes from in there that could possibly be redone in that environment. So if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Love that movie. What else? Another big one that's going on this year is the WHL US Challenge Cup. And I think this is a really cool thing. We've talked a little bit about like the US prospect draft that the WHL just announced like a week or two ago, where the focus is just on U.S.-born players. And they announced the Challenge Cup, earlier on this season, but it's actually coming up this weekend. We're recording today, which is the 19th, and it starts on the 20th, tomorrow, and it's all happening in Kent at the Accesso Showwear Center and then also the Kent Valley Ice Center. It's a huge... it's 18 round robin games that'll be happening for these teams. So are you involved at all, Dan? Are you heading to that? What have you heard about it over there?
I'm not involved with it. It's a little bit low key as far as the hockey community is concerned over here. And to be truthful, a lot of the youth teams and things like that are in the midst of playoff runs and are having to travel to Canada for both weekend days a lot of the time. So being involved in that space, I've sent this out to a bunch of people, both hockey fans and non-hockey fans, because it's all free to the public. These games, you can go down to Accesso Showwear Center, sidle up, have a beer, eat some food, watch, umpteen games. You can spend a whole day watching these AAA Bantam folks, which a portion of them are going to end up in the WHL possibly soon. And to me, it's just really exciting. I'm going to try to make it down there a little bit, but got a full slate of stuff this weekend. And it's Canada, U.S., all these great kids that are playing the game. So I'm pretty stoked about it, especially the free aspect of it. I mean, who gets to go to 18 games plus playoffs for free to any sport? Especially at these high-level kids, it's not like, you're going to watch a select soccer tournament. these are some of the best players in both nations that are playing at that level. So pretty stoked.
Now, these are kids that are actually going to be drafted into the WHL?
That could be.
That could be. Okay.
Yeah. I'm looking
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
it gives them a place. I was going to say it gives them a place to showcase their talent. So if they haven't been drafted, you got to imagine the WHL scouts are going to be parked in the stands watching these kids.
So those 3 top players that are putting in a bid to be like exceptional status, are they going to be playing at this?
I don't know. I believe one of those kids goes to Yale Academy, and the Yale Academy is actually playing there. The West Van Warriors will be playing there, and Connor Bedard, who is the top prospect this year, will be playing.
Oh, I am jealous, and it's free to go watch. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think all 3, if I'm not mistaken, all 3, but definitely 2 of the 3s you just mentioned are going to be there. So, it's a chance to see them before they are somebody. So
right.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is when I get like wishing that we lived over on the West Side.
Yeah.
All these hockey things, like even this Saturday, it's like try hockey for free. WUFA is putting that on, and it's the only girls free program that they do in the state. It's the only one that does a girls program for try hockey for free.
Wow.
So all this stuff that's going on, I'm a bit jealous there, Dan.
Yeah. That's part of what might keep me away from getting down to Accesso and the Kid Valley Ice Center, because I'm definitely on staff since I run the Learn to Play program for WUFA. I got to be there to do the spiel and get these girls interested. I think we had some north of 30 registered to try hockey for free. So not our biggest. We've had 47 out there at one point, but it's still a good showing.
Yeah.
And there's always kids that show up. Seattle Juniors also does a co-ed event, and we do multiples of these throughout the year just to get girls geared up and throw them on the ice and let them experience it. And that's where Penny picked it up, my daughter.
That's so cool.
She said, I think I can do this hockey thing after looking at a WUFA Try Hockey for Free flyer in our rink. I said, really? And then she came off the ice, and I looked at my wife and said, we just became hockey parents.
Man, I'm jealous because none of our kids want to play.
That a few of those. Are there sunspots or some shit today?
I was just going to say, though, with you guys looking at each other and saying that you became hockey parents, you should have also said we now have to do a second mortgage on our home to be able to afford that. So.
Yeah, luckily I played hockey as a kid, so I knew what we were getting into, because that was the next part of our conversation. I was like, and we best start saving money.
For sure. What's her position? What does she do?
What is who do?
Your daughter's position.
Oh, she's a defense. She's a defense woman. She just stays home, doesn't want any glory, puck, or center, or anything forward. So that's her role.
Fun. I was just thinking maybe if she was a goalie that you'd for sure have to get a second mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, we told our kids when they kind of talked hockey for a little bit, and I said, look, kids, I played hockey as a goalie when I was a bachelor, and I had no money at that point. So now as your father, who already has no money, I'm not going to be able to afford for you to be a goalie. So
yeah,
we joke about it, but it's, that conversation goes deeper into some of the barriers once again. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, there is so much going on in Seattle this weekend, the West Side, for all things hockey. You've got this inaugural WHL Challenge Cup, the U.S. Challenge Cup going on. I mean, that literally could fill your whole weekend with hockey. And then you just mentioned Seattle Junior. I just saw they're putting a team on the ice at the WHL U.S. Challenge. The 14U Admirals from the Seattle Junior program will be there. So there's a lot of hockey going on the West Side this weekend.
And we have no hockey.
We have nothing.
Nothing.
The Americans are in the Central Division. They're in Swift Current and Medicine Hat and Red Deer this weekend. So we don't get any live hockey.
Nope.
I did want to mention the Thunderbirds are holding on to that last wild card spot right now. Oh, here's a bit of news. This isn't necessarily West Side stuff, but Adam Foote was let go today as the Kelowna head coach. And jokingly, I said I would never, ever want to be a head coach in Kelowna because literally you have about 10 to 12 months to do something, and if you don't, they move on from you. So anyway.
Yeah, they are vicious. It is West Side. It's just Western Canada.
True.
Yes.
True. Yeah, so I mean that's interesting. I like Adam Foote. I still remember back to his playing days with
Wait.
the Avalanche.
Kid plays.
Yeah, his Nolan Foote just got traded his rights from Tampa to New Jersey in a big trade.
Really?
Yeah, so anyway, Kelowna's struggling, man. They've got that Memorial Cup this year, and they ain't looking so hot right now.
So
but
are the Broncos, man.
yeah, well, that doesn't count anymore. They spent all their money a few years ago to win a championship, and it worked. Portland, once again, is just kind of rolling. Everett is doing well. They just beat Portland this past weekend.
I know. I did
Yeah.
not. I missed that one, man.
We got to see...
Damn.
We got to see Everett over here for the first time about a week and a half ago, and Dustin Wolf, I love that kid. He was so good. He had a shutout, all that stuff. So,
Yeah. And they locked up a playoff spot, too.
they did, and those are starting to fall. Kamloops locked up, Lethbridge locked up, Edmonton, Portland, Everett. We've got 5 or 6 in there right now.
Who do you think will do it next? I saw on the WHL Facebook page that there is a scenario where the Spokane could clinch tonight. Yeah.
They're playing Lethbridge, though. Lethbridge is pretty damn good.
Oh, yeah, so they probably won't.
But anyway, well, we're starting to wind down here. I did want to say, I don't remember if we mentioned it on air a couple weeks ago on our last episode, but we're going to try to mend the two, not mend, but bring the two sides, the West and the East, together. The March 7th and 8th, or the 8th really, we're hoping to be over in Seattle. So if anybody's listening and wants to come to Seattle Center on March 8th,
Yeah.
the NHL traveling exhibit, which celebrates Black history with players in the NHL, is going to be in town for several days, actually. But on the 8th, they're going to be at Seattle Center, close to where all the construction's going on with the new arena. And we're hoping to come over. Our friend Kwame's going to be there. Even if we can't make it, I would encourage everyone to go check this out. It's free.
Yeah.
It's full of history. Kwame is super passionate about this project. He's full of information. He's full of knowledge. Totally personable. He would be somebody that you can learn a lot from. But we're hoping to be there, and then we're hoping to go support Wildbird at the Seattle Thunderbirds game that evening. So, hopefully,
So who do we root for?
What is it? It's Seattle
and Everett.
Everett that night.
I know. It's West Side.
I just think enjoy the game.
Okay.
I think Everett. I mean Everett in Seattle and Portland in Seattle, which is this weekend.
Yeah.
Those are always good games because no matter how crappy one team is versus how good another is, there's just bad blood. It's going to be like
Absolutely.
Vancouver and Seattle when the NHL comes on. Which NHL name should be coming out in March, or so they say.
I don't believe that.
Well-
I think it's horseshit.
Yeah, and what have you heard about the Renegades thing lately? I mean, there's this whole theory now because they made some change to their domain information about the Renegades, and now it's completely disappeared from Google and all this stuff. I don't understand. What have you heard about it?
I have heard diddly squat about it, just all the rumors and speculation. I think it's, to me, it's just good PR. No,
Oh, yeah.
it's just people are getting spun up about the name, and people are dropping hints that they know what it is because they want to be the first one to say it,
For sure.
but have no insider knowledge on that whatsoever. The only thing that I keep consistently hearing is I don't give a crap what the team is named. Just name it and put the merch out because I want to start buying it.
And that's where I'm at. To be quite honest, that's where I'm at. I know on Cascadia a couple weeks ago, I said I'm with Team Kraken. I'm cool if it becomes Team Kraken. I'm on team. Let me spend some money on it right now, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I could care less what the name is, but really. I mean, there are a couple of them that I don't really like, but I don't want to,
I think we should go sock puppets.
Sock puppets.
Sock puppets. Yeah, the only thing that I don't like is the Rain City bitch pigeons.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Or like the Seattle snowflakes and
That
stuff
too.
like that.
Let it be the funniest name ever.
Yeah, no, that'd be the Sockeyes. Sorry. The Sockeyes are great fish and everything, but I really don't want to support a hockey team that's prey animal for two of the other teams in the league.
Right.
So,
That's true.
I mean, the Canucks aren't an orca, but that's one of their primary logos. So
Right.
I'm like, let's just not be the prey fish.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm really excited for the whole thing to start to come together.
I wonder though, like, what's the point in waiting so long? Like, aren't they losing out on so much?
No.
And then, I
No,
mean,
people be spending the money, whether that's now or later.
Yeah.
that's true.
Exactly.
But they could have so much more money now.
But they're fine. They're fine. The 30,000 people dropped $500 deposits for season tickets, and now people are paying for their club seats. So they're fine.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't need to make any more money, but you have one shot at naming this team, and it's going to be named that in perpetuity unless, it goes the way of the Supersonics and the Thunder. But, barring that, it's you got one shot to name it, so you better do it right. And not that the Seattle market is a picky bunch of bastards when it comes to things like that, but the Seattle market's a picky market.
Yeah.
Right.
I bet you they don't even know right now. And they're just like, oh my God, it's 18 months out. We got to figure this out.
I did.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, I don't think so. I think that they've had the name in their pocket for a long time, and they're waiting for the right moment to release it and getting some spin and some excitement about it. And they've already got all of this stuff worked up, gone to the printers. I'm surprised we haven't seen any leaks.
Yeah.
To be honest, because a lot of this stuff, like the horrid new Sounders jerseys, leaked out a while ago, but people are keeping this one pretty tight-lipped at this point.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to leave with this parting thought. The NHL the other day released a video asking current players in the league what they know about Seattle, and most of them brought up that they know it rains a lot and they have good coffee there. So I'm actually I'm excited for players to really start learning and getting to know Seattle. Now, granted, there's WHL players that all know about the city already. But for the rest of the country and the rest of, the players that haven't been here before, I'm excited for them to experience Seattle because I think it's going to become a town that people really look forward to coming through.
Totally. I saw that and I got a good laugh out of it, but it's amazing how to the rest of the world, even with Amazon and, Microsoft and Boeing. I mean, Boeing's no longer headquartered here, but face it, it's Boeing town.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised at how backwater we still are to most people. It's like they just forget about the Pacific Northwest. The Seahawks have been really successful and things like that. It's like, don't you know? Haven't you heard? But no, apparently not. Apparently we're just still wearing cowboy hats and, dating our sisters or something.
Cowboy hats and flannel shirts and drinking, $10 cups of coffee, I guess. So
$10 cups of coffee and $2 beers.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, either a $2 beer or a $20 beer, depending. Either it's Rainier or something super crafty. So
or a $20 $2 beer.
There you go. There you go.
with a bespoke keyring bottle opener.
Yes.
Only in Seattle.
Oh, good old bespoke. Yes. Well, guys, it's been fun. I really am. I'm hoping we're there in a couple of weeks. I think we get one more recording done before that, so we'll make sure to make a final assessment at that point. But things are heating up, literally and figuratively. Seattle's going to be the center of the hockey world very soon, even more so than it is now. And we're just excited. We love the Pacific Northwest. We love everything going on up here. And we're glad you took some time to check it out today. Any parting words from you two sexy beasts to you?
No.
Okay.
No. That's very direct.
Go try hockey for free if you are in the West Side.
Yes, this episode comes out Friday night, so that Try Hockey Free Day is on Saturday. So
I'm telling you, if I was there, I would totally come and join because I'm a girl.
Yeah.
And I would try hockey for free.
Nice.
You had parting words?
That's true. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. I'll piggyback on that and say no matter what age you are, no matter where you're at, go to the NHL Seattle site and look at their they literally have links to every group for every person that's interested in playing hockey, from little kids to adults. And they have everyone that they could get information about throughout the state. So it's not just centered around Seattle. If you want to go try hockey for free, look up these organizations, get your rear end out there. A lot of them will loan you gear because they're just stoked that somebody else wants to come play hockey because it's a really big community and family environment. So, get out there. For those people who don't have the price point situation in check, which is totally understandable, there are scholarships out there for all the kids that need them. Every organization has some kind of scholarship program to help leap over some of those barriers. And then if you're in the Seattle area, look up floorball at any of your community centers. Check that out. And if you just want to get a taste of what hockey's about, it's a great starting point.
Nice. That was a great selling point from both of you guys on a very important, just a great program all around for floorball and for Try Hockey for Free. So with that, I'm going to leave it with you. Anyone listening, you know where we stand. Support local hockey.
And support local musicians.
Support local musicians, yes. Thank you so much for Michael Pelligrini, who lets us use one of his tracks for the opening and closing here. You can check Michael out on his SoundCloud page, M. Pelligrini, I believe. And he's also on Twitter as well, super active. So seriously, a big thank you to Michael for letting us use that music. We do have some more that we'll add as well. We really we want to focus on everything with the Northwest. So, yeah, I think that's about it. You guys good to go?
Good.
All right. Well, we're gonna put episode 6 to bed. Dan, buddy, have a good weekend. It's gonna be super busy for you, but you're gonna love every minute of it.
Take pictures and post it and tag us because I'd love to see all the girls playing hockey and all that.
Yes.
We'll do for sure, and hopefully we'll see you here in a couple of weeks. And and actually, get to shake hands, have beers, and do all that fun stuff.
Yes. You have a beer, I'll have a whiskey because beer raises my blood sugar.
And I'll have a nitro.
Not. And Anya will have a nitro. She loves that nitro cold beer. So.
Oh, maybe I'll have a beer and a whiskey.
Yeah.
Hey, if you like the nitro, let's make sure I can hook you up with a little bit of a coffee tasting if you want to know. It's like tasting wine. If you want to do that while you're here, let's arrange it.
Ooh.
Her eyeballs just got pretty big there. So, all right, my brother, you have a good evening. The rest of you, thank you so much for taking time, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Peace out.
See ya.